Hello and welcome to my fellow BohoVistaSister ladies, girls, women. Our little sisterhood is amazing and Alexandra has brought us all together, and it's been such a beautiful growth of an incredible group of women. I wanted to do this video this morning because every now and again somebody will post about how they feel less than worthy, unattractive, they can't bear to see themselves in the mirror, and they just feel bad about themselves, whether it's physically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. These things are not uncommon in any of us, but for some of us they bring torture. And we as a group are here to support each other and remind each other how beautiful we all are. By background, I'm a doctor. I was a consultant psychiatrist and I had to retire in 2017 due to illness. And so I do have chronic illness and chronic pain and chronic difficulties. And in my journey, when I started to become ill, I rediscovered yoga, but more than just physical poses. Yoga embodiment practices, more than just mindfulness, more about going inward and recognizing, accepting who we are and looking from the inside out. So I wanted to share something with you this morning just to bring your attention back to yourself in a positive way. It all starts with kindness and compassion to ourselves and finding that for ourselves. It's difficult to, especially in the current world, which is really unpredictable, quite scary. It's changing not in a good way every day, and that it brings out the worst in us, and it brings out the worst in the way we speak to ourselves. So trying to find a little bit of kindness and compassion for ourselves every single day is important to how we feel, how we then appear to everybody else as well. I invite you to soften or close your eyes. If closing your eyes is uncomfortable, just take your gaze down. One of the things that I say so much to the people that I share my yoga with is notice your breath, notice your body. And I don't mean look at it, I mean notice how you feel. Is the part of you that needs more comfort and more care today? Because if you don't notice it, you won't give it that care. Think of something you would like to say to yourself, but you can say it in the first person. My children growing up, my boys are 19 and 22 now, but we had a house, just the three of us growing up, and what we would repeat is, we embrace imperfection. We accept imperfection. We love imperfection. Imperfection is perfectly imperfect. Perfect is seriously overrated. So, what else could be something that you would wish to say to yourself? I am loved. I give love, but I am loved. I am worthy of love, and I am loved. I am beautiful as I am. I am beautiful as I am. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not trying to be an Instagram yogi. Well, I am on Instagram, but you know what I mean. The Instagram yogis that do circus acrobatics. So I am beautiful as I am. Welcome to this practice. This is a practice that is suitable for absolute beginners, people with no experience whatsoever. It's also suitable for someone who has experience, who just wants to enjoy as well. But it has been put together specifically for the BohoVistaSister group of beautiful women who've come together on Facebook, led of course by Alexandra. Along with yoga poses, asanas, I incorporate other embodied movements, embodied ways of practicing, and so you will notice that some of those things are brought in from time to time. Any person can join in a physical practice of yoga, but it's crucial to listen to your own body. And so it's not a competition, it's not trying to get into certain positions, it's about the intention of what we do. This is not a pregnancy class, and I'm not a pregnancy yoga teacher yet. So if you are pregnant and you are well practiced to yoga, then that's fine. You understand your body, you understand what you can and can't do. If you've never practiced before, you shouldn't really start practicing yoga when you're pregnant unless it was under the direct supervision of a qualified pregnancy prenatal yoga teacher. If in doubt, ask your midwife. Ask your midwife if any of the poses are okay for you. You can, of course, visualize any of the postures, and that applies to anybody. If there's something you don't want to do, if you don't want to do the whole thing, but you want to be involved, you can listen, you can watch, you can visualize. Listen to your body. You are the greatest expert on yourself. Your body knows what it should and shouldn't do, can and can't do. Please understand what you need from any practice. So our theme, as we talked about in the little introductory video I did some time ago now, I wanted to bring this to you to think about self-compassion and self-love. We've been living through the strangest of times, and we live in a world where we can be so critical and judgmental of ourselves above everybody. So throughout this practice, bring your thoughts back to self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-love. Start today just by tuning into you, tuning into your breath and your body. So come to a seated position, find a comfortable seated position. I'm sitting on a cushion. It's very good if you're not very flexible and you find it very difficult to be flat on the floor. A cushion that lifts your hips a little bit means that it's easier to sit on the floor. This isn't particularly special. It's one I made. It was actually my prototype when I was making them last year. So sit on a cushion and lift your hips. If you don't have a cushion, you can use a pillow or a folded up blanket. That works really well. And cross your legs if it's comfortable to, but if it's not, it doesn't matter. Sit how is comfortable to you. Soften or close your eyes and tune in to how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. Notice if it's shallow or deep, quick or slow, and maybe try to just slow it down a little bit. But notice. We're going to try some Ujjayi breath, also known as ocean breath or yogic breath. So for Ujjayi breath, there's a slight constriction at the back of the throat. It's safe for everybody. If you imagine how you fog up a window or a mirror and you make a noise when you do that, Ujjayi breath does the same thing. So we constrict the back of the throat a little bit, but with the mouth closed. So you're breathing through the nose. And you do it on the inhale and the exhale. Doing that allows us greater control over our breath. So we'll have a go of inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4 using Ujjayi breath. If it doesn't feel comfortable or right to you, it doesn't matter. Let it go. But we'll try it together first. So, inhaling for 4. Exhale for 4. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. And just allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Notice how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice your body. Notice any change. That inhaling and exhaling for 4 is a balancing breath. It's a breath you can use at any time of day. It's really good if you are anxious and a bit hyped up. It can bring you down. It's really good if you're feeling sluggish and low. It can bring you up. It's balancing. So use it if it feels good for you. Even before bed, even when you wake up. I invite you now to come down lying onto the mat. Take an adaptation if you are pregnant, maybe being propped up by cushions. So coming to lie on the mat or the floor or the carpet or a rug, whatever you have, stretch out your legs and allow your arms to rest down by your side. And tune into your body. Notice how you are feeling today. Start and scan your body, starting at the feet. Notice how the heels might be resting on the earth. The ankles, the lower legs, the upper legs, the hips, the belly, the chest, the shoulders, the arms of the hands. Notice the length of the spine, the neck and the head. How do you feel today? Are there any areas of tension or discomfort? Any areas that need extra love and compassion today? Any areas that you need to give extra care to? Then on the next inhale, take the arms overhead and come into a full body stretch. Maybe flexing the feet and soften. Walk the heels over to the right and the shoulders just as far as is right for you. And maybe take hold of the left wrist with the right hand. So notice any sensation that you feel down the left side. We're not trying to have the maximum stretch. It's about noticing a shift in sensation. And come back to center. Walk the heels left and the shoulders left, taking hold of the right wrist. You're not pulling, just encouraging. And again, tune in to the sensations that you can feel down the right side of the body. You get an increase of stretch in the right side, but there's also a shift in sensation in the left, because the left side has to compensate for the movement on the right. Come back through center and release the arms. Bring the knees into the chest and have a little rock side to side. This pose is called Apanasana. And it's so simple, but if you have your hands just lightly on your knees,
As you inhale, the belly fills. Feel your knees move away a little bit. As you exhale, the belly softens. Feel your knees move back. Yoga, embodied movements, we're looking to increase our interoceptive awareness, how we feel from the inside. And again, have a little rock side to side. We'll take a gentle twist here. Please remember, if you are pregnant, no twists. So allow your knees to drop over to the right side and sweep your left hand out across the body. If it's not comfortable for you, just leave your hand on your left leg and maybe drop back a little. If you can, sweep that left arm out, stretching the arms out into a T position, and take your gaze over to that left hand. Notice how both shoulders sink down towards the mat. And again, tune in to how it feels. And breathe. Bring that left hand all the way back. Push back through center and take the knees over to the left side. Sweep the right hand out and across, bringing those arms back into a T position, and let your gaze follow. Tune in, notice the shift in where your body is in contact with the earth. Release that hand back, push back to center, and rock side to side again. We're going to come up to seated. So either rock gently to seated or simply roll onto one side and gently push yourself to seated. If you want to rock, you can take your hands under your knees and just have a little rock and roll and come to find a seated position. So coming to seated, you may wish to sit back on a cushion or a folded blanket. Now, if your legs are in front of you, further away than mine, that's okay. You have to find where's right for you. As I said before, you may find it more comfortable and easier if your hips are raised. If you can cross your legs, try having them down in front rather than crossing at the ankles and kind of lining the heels up. You're then sitting evenly on your sit bones, the bits that we sit on. Pause. Notice how you feel. Tune back into your breath, your body. We're going to take some shoulder rolls here, just warming through those joints. So I'm going to mirror now. So when I'm facing you, I will call left, right and right, left so that you can copy as though we're in a mirror. So if I confuse you at times, I apologize. So starting with the left shoulder, rolling down and back, and just visualize it moving as well. And change direction. And then take that to the right shoulder, up and down and back, not pushing it, not overstretching, just warming through. And change direction. And then take both shoulders together. And shift direction again. And just come to rest. We'll take a side stretch. So left hand down to the mat. As you inhale, lift the right arm up. As you exhale, take it over. Inhale up. Exhale back. Swap sides. Right hand down to the mat. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. And release. And just do that at your speed. And You're not trying to bend all the way over. You're not trying to move over either at the hips. You're lifting out of the hips and just having a bit of a side stretch so you can feel the ribs opening up. One more each side. And pause. Notice how you feel. Notice any shifts that you feel within your body, within your upper body. Notice how as you move on one side, there's a compensatory move on the other. Notice even when you move, how it alters how your body's resting on the mat. You're tuning into yourself. You may be tuning into yourself in a way you haven't done for a long time or ever. We're going to come to tabletop, 4-point kneeling pose. So I invite you to join me on your mat or whatever you're on, coming to hands and knees. So in our tabletop, you want to check that your hands are shoulder width apart. Your wrists are under your elbows and under your shoulders. Your hands themselves, you're going to spread the fingers wide and push the fingertips into the mat. And also pushing into the knuckle, under the knuckle of that index finger and thumb. By doing that, you're taking pressure away from the wrists. If you just don't bother with your fingers, you get an awful lot of pressure and you might strain your wrists or aggravate them if you have problems with your wrists. If you do have problems and this is more difficult for you, you can have a folded blanket or towel under the palm to lift the wrists. Now coming to your legs, your knees are hip width apart and your knees are under your hips. So you're in a good, strong, solid base. Just notice how that feels. We're going to take some cat-cow here. So, tilting the pelvis, drop the belly, lift through the chest and lift the gaze. That is your cow. For cat, tilt the pelvis, round through the spine, arching the back, chin to chest. Cat. Tilt the pelvis, drop the belly, lift through the chest. Tilt, round and chin to chest. We'll do 2 more. Tilt, drop and lift. Tilt, round and arch and chin to chest. And come back to tabletop. If your movements are very slight, it's fine, it doesn't matter. It's about increasing those movements very gently and increasing the mobility in the spine, warming through those vertebral joints. From here, we're going to go into child's pose. So pushing back so the hips are heading to the heels. Now, some people find child's pose very difficult. And if you do, you can put a cushion or pillows between the upper leg and the lower leg so that you just rest back in that position. Otherwise, if your hips are keen to go back to your heels, you can push all the way back to your child's pose. This is extended child's pose with the hands stretched out, the arms lengthened. Maybe come up onto your fingertips. Maybe soften, resting the forehead on the mat. Then inhale, come up, forward slightly. Exhale, round down and back to child's pose. Inhale, come up and forwards. Exhale, round, down and back. Inhale, come up and forwards. Exhale, down and back to your child's pose. And breathe. Notice how you feel. Coming back up to tabletop, find your position, and from here we're going to thread the needle. This is a twist, so care is needed if twists are not right for you. So, First, taking the right hand and reaching it up to the sky. Now, if your right hand only wants to come up a little bit, that's okay as well. But the intention is up to the sky, and you can just visualize that. As you exhale, take that right hand under the left arm. Now, if you only want to go a little of the way, that's absolutely fine as well. Otherwise, you can carry on until your right shoulder is coming down to the mat. Your hips, your sit bones are still heading to the sky. Your knees are still under your hips. Try and soften into the pose. Then inhale back up to tabletop and swap sides. Take the left hand up to the sky, or as far as is right for you. Thread it through, taking the left shoulder down to the mat. And breathe. Push back up to tabletop and back to your child's pose. Coming back to tabletop, take the hands, a hand palm width forward so that you've got a slight slant in those arms, pushing again into the fingertips and into the knuckle under the index finger and thumb. We are going to go to standing, but we've got two ways we can get there. You can either gently push up to standing, or you can go through a downward facing dog. If you want to have a go at downward facing dog, tuck the toes under. Hover the knees slightly, push the sit bones back and up, coming into your downward dog. Now, downward dog, the intention here is length in the spine. It is not straight legs and feet flat on the mat. Because if you do that when you're not ready and not able to, you'll get curving through the spine. So you bend the knees as much as you need and send the sit bones as high as you can. You're also not trying to press the chest all the way through because you lose the integrity of the pose. Your ears should be framed by your arms. And breathe. You may find it slightly easier to take the legs a little bit wider. And breathe. Then slowly walk your feet to the centre of the mat. Walk your hands to your feet. Keep the feet about hip width apart, bending them as much as you need, coming into a ragdoll so you can just hold the opposite arms. You keep the knees soft or bent, don't lock them, just protecting your spine. Maybe have a little rock side to side. And then generously bend the knees, release the arms, bend the knees a lot, lengthen through the spine so it's good and long and not curved, and rise up all the way through standing to extended mountain. Releasing the arms, coming into your mountain pose. Tadasana, mountain pose. So standing with the feet. Well, traditionally, the toes are together and the heels are a little apart. But for many of us, it's more comfortable, especially as you're learning or as you're getting older, or if you have any back problems, for the feet to be about hip width. Lift the toes, spread them wide, and place them down again. And just rock a little in your mountain pose. And notice where you find your center. You don't want to be resting on the ball of the feet. You want your feet back, your weight back a little bit. From your feet, work up the legs. You need your strong foundation first. Coming up the legs and lifting the kneecaps slightly so you're engaging the quads. Don't let the tailbone stick out. Try and have a nice neutral spine. Strong through the core so you're not just slumping. Shoulders are away from your ears so they're not crunched up. And in your mountain, feel the connection with the earth. Energy rooting down through the earth, but energy rising from the earth. Feel that long line of energy right through the crown of the head. Pause.
and notice how you feel. Come back to your intention for this practice. Self-kindness, self-compassion, some self-love, and breathe. From your mountain, we're going to have a little warrior flow. So step the feet out. You choose how wide you want to step your feet. So in warrior, it's up to a leg or a leg and a half, but we're not about what it looks like. This is about what practice is right for you. So be kind to yourself and feel where you need to be today. So feet are out as wide as is right for you. I'm mirroring now. So turn the left toes out so they would be towards the short edge of a mat. You're kind of keeping your hips forward towards the long edge, but you can't do it completely 100%, so don't worry about that. Your right toes come in a little. When we have warrior pose, in my practices, I encourage you to start with that self-love and compassion. So we start by taking a hug. Arms sweep across and feel that embrace. Feel the warmth of that embrace and remember that this is where the BohoVistaSister sisterhood is all hugging together. As you sweep the arms out, you're going to bend that left knee. So your right leg is strong. It's not locked, but it's strong. Your left knee is going to bend. Now, if your knee only wants to bend a little bit, you may be like that. And if that's where it's right for you today, that is where it's right for you today. I'm trying to make sure that you can see the pose in all of its manifestations. So, going back, sweeping out, take that knee bend no further than over the ankle. So you don't want it to go all the way over, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't reach the ankle. So sweep out, warrior two. Taking the gaze, the drishti point, the gaze, through that middle finger of the left hand. Straighten the leg, release, come back to your hug. And release into your warrior two. Come back to your hug and warrior two. And this time stay for a few breaths. Notice how it feels in different areas of your body. Is it good? Make sure your knees not dropping in or out. Be strong in your warrior. We all have an inner warrior. Notice if your shoulders are crunching up by your ears. We're going to reverse our warrior. So, drop the right palm down to the thigh. Turn the left palm and sweep it up. You take it just a little if you wish, a little further if you wish, but be careful not to lose your balance. This is a side stretch, so feel the ribs opening again. And come back. Warrior two. Try that again. Drop, turn, reverse. Take the gaze up if you wish. Come back. Warrior two. Drop, turn, reverse, and breathe. Feel into this pose. And come back. Warrior two. We're going to take triangle, Trikonasana, which is a lovely name. So shift a little to the left, straighten that left leg, and we're going to rotate. So the left hand comes down in front of the thigh and the right hand goes up. This is a side bend, feeling the shift in sensation through the right side of the body. You can go further down, but I encourage you not to overstretch. Don't lock the knee. Bend it as much as you need in this position. To come out, generously bend that left knee to protect your back. Keep the core strong and rise up. Warrior two. Release the hands. Step the feet in and just pause and notice how you feel. Notice how one side of the body feels compared to the other, because you've got a definite difference at this point. And breathe. Step the feet out again, and we'll take that on the other side. Remember, don't push further than your body requires today. Turn the right toes out towards the short edge. Bring the left toes in, hips kind of face forwards. Take your hug. Sweep out, bend that knee. Warrior two. Check your knee position. Check it's not dropping in or out. Check it's not going over the ankle. Take your hug. Remember your kindness and compassion. Sweep out. Warrior two. Take your hug and sweep out. Warrior two. We're going to reverse it. So drop the left hand, turn the right palm, reverse. Come back. Warrior two. Drop, turn, reverse. Come back. Warrior two. Last one. Drop, turn, reverse. It's okay to wobble. Come back. Warrior two. Trikonasana, triangle. Shift a little. Straighten but don't lock. Bend as much as you need. And rotate into your triangle. And breathe. Generously bend the knee and come back. Warrior two. Turn your feet to the front, and we'll have a wide-legged forward fold here to release the spine a little. So soft knees. Generously bending them to make sure that you're not hurting your back. You definitely don't want locked legs. Now as we do this, we're going to give ourselves some love. So take the hands on the lower back. And as you bend, keep length of the spine and run the hands down the backs and outsides of the legs. And breathe. Keep the knees soft or bent, and as you inhale, come up and let the hands slide up the front and inner parts of the legs. Take them to the back. Exhale down, soften, bend the knees. Inhale, come back up. One more, we'll stay down this time. Exhale down, soften knees. And release. Now, if you in this position are miles away from the floor, that's okay. You can always use a stool, a table, a cushion, blocks, books, anything. But in your wide-legged forward fold, keep your feet parallel and maybe have a little bend and stretch side to side. And then as you inhale, come onto the fingertips or higher on your books or blocks. Exhale and soften. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and soften. One more. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and soften. Gently walk the feet in. Lengthen through the spine. Keep the knees nice and bent so you're not hurting your back. You're protecting your spine. And rise back up through extended mountain, coming back to Tadasana, mountain pose. have a little shimmy, have a little shake, have another shimmy, have another shake, and pause and notice how you feel. Pause and notice how you feel, and breathe. Okay, we're going to take a balance pose. So we're going to have tree, which is one of my favourite poses because it's grounding, it's centering, it helps us feel our inner strength. So for tree, start by shifting the weight into the right foot. If you're wobbly, stand against a wall, have a wall behind you or by a door, with the door shut, obviously, so that you've got that extra stability. Shift the weight into the right foot. Turn the left leg so you're externally rotating that leg at the hip. Bring the left heel to the right ankle. Now that is the first tree position, and that may be the one that's right for you today. And if so, that's beautiful. You don't need to change the legs at all. We'll come on to arms in a second. If you want to take your tree a little higher, you can place the left foot on the lower leg, the right lower leg, not the knee. We don't want to hurt our knees. It can rest just there. Some people are more experienced with tree, and if you want to try this later on when you're more experienced, or now if you already have a foundation, then you can take it higher to the upper leg, the inner thigh, but not the knee. So whichever, and it's okay to wobble, whichever position you choose, add the arms. Hands maybe to heart center. And breathe. Find your drishti point, a point to stare at, to focus on, to help you balance. Maybe grow your branches. Maybe take the hands overhead. And release. Oh, pause and notice again. Again, there's a big shift, different sensations on the right side compared to the left. Notice. Notice your breath and notice your body. Let's swap sides. So shift the weight into the left foot. Externally rotate the right. Find your tree. Bring the heel into the ankle. It's not a competition. If that's where it's right for you, that is where it's right for you today. And we all have different days where our balance is decidedly better or worse. Remember, you can stand by the wall or a door. Find a higher position if you wish, just not the knee. Taking to the inner leg, the inner thigh if you wish. Find your drishti. Get your hand position. It's okay to wobble. Maybe grow your branches. Maybe hands overhead. And release. Pause and notice again. Just tune into those sensations. And breathe. Have a little shimmy. Have a little shake. Let's come back down to the mat. A couple of poses here. Just roll all the way down if you wish. If you wish to come onto your back to Apanasana, just have a gentle rock, side to side, which is so good for you when you need to release the spine at all. We're going to have a dynamic bridge here. So, feet come flat to the mat. Now, some people struggle with bridge, and if you've got a yoga block, that's brilliant. If you don't have a block, you can always use a cushion, folded blanket, or, well, books probably aren't quite so good for bridge, so maybe a cushion or folded blanket. Place the block between the thighs so that your thighs are squeezing into the block. This stops your legs going in too much or out too much in your bridge. So for bridge, take the feet as close to the body as you can. Feet are flat on the mat, knees are bent. As you inhale next, sweep the arms up and overhead as you lift the hips off the floor.
Don't worry if they don't come up very much. Squeezing your block. Next, exhale, come down. Inhale, arms up, hips up. Exhale, come down. One more, I'm just scooching down. Inhale, arms up overhead. This time, leave the hips in the air as the arms come back down. Trying to lift the hips as much as you can without using your hands. It's okay if it's not very much. And release. Remove your block. Knees back into the chest. Rock side to side again. And gently come back to a seated position just for a short guided meditation before Shavasana, relaxation. So in your seated position, maybe soften or close your eyes and bring your attention back to the breath. Sit up nice and tall. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes or soften them and breathe. Lay your palms softly on your thighs. Once you find your moment, take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale out from your mouth. Take a moment to appreciate and acknowledge being present. This is all about self-love, self-kindness, and self-compassion. What is the reason that you forget to love yourself? Your confidence? Try to reset what you think. Try to start again from scratch. Enjoy this moment as a complete moment of freedom. Your mind is lighter, free from all negative thoughts, ready to be nourished with positive energy. Remember that love is not something you have to look for. This is something deep within you, hidden from a surface made up of worries, schedules, social demands, and negative conceptions of yourself. You simply need to release some love, to give it a chance to shine, to lead you. What you have to look for is a perfect combination of your body and soul. A balanced, serene mood and attitude that feels like you're preparing a fertile soil to grow amazing, beautiful flowers as divine insights from a higher and more caring version of you. You have this magic within you. Take a long, deep breath in and a long, deep breath out. Listen to the sound of your breathing becoming heavier and heavier at every breath you take. Notice your inhale and notice your exhale. Allow any worry, task, or negative thought to float away. You have no time for them here, so let each of them go. Visualize them floating away on the great ocean of your mind. Notice how your breath flows in and out. Make no effort to change your breathing in any way. Simply notice how your body breathes. Your body knows just how much air it needs. Sit quietly, seeing in your mind's eye your breath flowing gently in and out of your body. When your attention wanders, as it will,
just focus back once again on your breathing. Notice any stray thoughts. Don't dwell on them. Simply let them pass. See how your breath continues to flow deeply, calmly. Notice the stages of a complete breath. From the in-breath, the pause that follows, the exhale, and the pause again before taking another breath. Notice the slight breaks between each breath. Feel the air entering your nose. Picture the breath flowing through the cavities of your sinuses and down to your lungs. As thoughts intrude, allow them to pass and return your attention to your breathing. See the air inside your body after you inhale, filling your body gently. Notice how the space inside your lungs becomes smaller after you exhale, and air leaves the body. Feel your chest and stomach gently rise and fall with each breath. Now as you inhale, count silently 1. As you exhale, count 1. Wait for the next breath and again 1. Exhale 1. Inhale 1. Exhale 1. Continue to count each inhalation and exhalation as 1. Notice how your body feels. See how calm and gentle your breathing is and how relaxed your body feels. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm and simply let go of counting. Bringing your awareness back to the room. From this position, I invite you to join me with legs in the air. If you have pillows or cushions or a bolster that you can use, please do. So if you have a bolster, simply pull it so that it's by your hips. Lift the hips and place the bolster under the sacrum. And then simply take your legs into the air. Soften or close your eyes and return your attention to your breath. You can try extending the exhale. So breathing in for 3 and out for 6. Or in for 4 and out for 8. But allow your legs to simply hang. And breathe. Scan your body again. Notice any effects, any impact from your practice. And bring your attention back to yourself, your heart. Have an intention for the rest of your day to bring some kindness and compassion throughout your day to yourself. As you are ready, lower your legs. For Shavasana, now you may wish to simply roll your bolster or cushions to under your knees for a supported Shavasana. Stretch out the legs in that position. Maybe have your arms by your sides, palms facing up. If you wish, pull a blanket over you. Even pull socks on, even an eye mask, just allowing yourself to sink into the mat.
This is a guided relaxation, so simply listen. Take your attention to your right hand. Notice the thumb, the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger and the little finger. Notice the palm and the back of the hand. Be aware of the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm, the right shoulder. Allow your attention to move across the body to the left shoulder and all the way down to the left hand. Notice the thumb, the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger and the little finger. Notice the palm of the hand and the back of the hand. Be aware of the wrist. Be aware of the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm and the shoulder. Be aware of both arms. Take your attention to your right foot. Notice the big toe, the second toe, the third toe, the fourth toe and the little toe. Notice the sole of the foot and the top of the foot, the heel and the ankle, the lower leg, the knee, the thigh and the right hip. Take your attention to your left foot. Notice the big toe, the second toe, the third toe, the fourth toe and the little toe. Notice the sole of the foot and the top of the foot. Be aware of the heel, the ankle, the lower leg, the knee, the thigh and the hip. Be aware of both legs. Notice the belly rise and fall with the breath. Notice the chest rising and falling. Be aware of the full length of the spine and the back resting on the mat. Notice the neck up to the head and the face. Be aware of the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, the chin, the cheeks and the forehead. Be aware of the entire body resting on the mat just for a little while. Deepen your inhale and deepen your exhale. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Maybe take a full body stretch. Maybe pull the knees into the chest and rock a little, side to side. And as you are ready, gently push yourself up back to a seated position. I ask you now just to simply soften or close your eyes again and notice how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice your body. Try and carry that kindness and compassion for yourself through your day. Enjoy your day. See you soon.